Good afternoon. Thank you for attending this webinar. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the third in a series of webinars on electronics manufacturing outsourcing services. Today's webinar is entitled One-Stop Shop Solutions for 5G and Millimeter Wave Manufacturing. We will be featuring a company that offers exactly these solutions. The company is Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated. This event is organized by the various Philippine Trade and Investment Centers in the United States and the Philippine Board of Investments. The webinar is being recorded and will be posted in YouTube soon right after. All presentation decks will be made available upon request from the organizers. The webinar will last about an hour with around 48 minutes or so for the presentations. We will have 15 minutes of Q&A and discussions after the presentations. You may submit your questions anytime during the presentations using the chat box provided. My name is Jojo Ochave, your moderator for today. I am president of the Prometheus Consultants Management and Services, Inc. Prometheus Consultants provides engineering and program management services to companies engaged in product development and/or manufacturing activities in the country. Me and my associates have been part of the Philippine RF and microwave manufacturing industry for 25 years, executing production transfers, new product introduction, R&D, and manufacturing operations. I used to be with companies like Remec, Manufacturing Philippines, PowerWave, Celestica, among others. Today, we will have presentations from Undersecretary Rafaelita Aldaba, who heads the Department of Trade and Industries Competitiveness and Innovation Group, and also from Mr. Domingo Bonifacio of Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated, or ATEC for short. ATEC houses the country's pioneering and most experienced engineering and production resources in wireless equipment manufacturing in the country. To officially start our program, we are sharing a keynote message from Secretary Ramon Lopez of the Department of Trade and Industry.
A pleasant day to all. We hope everyone is keeping themselves safe and healthy during this COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you for attending this event in line with our new marketing brand campaign, the Make It Happen in the Philippines, to promote our country as an attractive and reliable destination for investments. In particular, we want to highlight our country's competencies on highly specialized electronics subsectors while also promoting our electronics manufacturing services, or EMS. Our two nations share a long history of trade, culture, and economic ties. In 2019, the US was the Philippines' third major trading partner, top export market, and fourth top import supplier. Bilateral trade between the Philippines and the US last year amounted to $19.6 billion US dollars, higher than the $18.7 billion US dollars in 2018. Moreover, our balance of trade in that period was at a positive $3.49 billion, higher than the previous year's $2.57 billion. Furthermore, the US was our sixth top partner in approved investments in 2019 with $226.45 million US dollars. And in the first quarter of this year, you were already our second top partner with $112.98 million US dollars. Despite the setbacks and challenges brought about by the pandemic, the Philippines still remains a conducive place to do business and is considered one of the top emerging economies and countries for investments. Reputed business magazine, The Economist, ranked the country as the sixth emerging economy with high financial strength. CEO World magazine placed Philippines within the top 10 countries to invest in post-COVID. Both the World Bank and the IMF also predict a good economic recovery for the country, with forecasts of 6.2% to 6.8% respectively by 2021. Hence, we are working on rebuilding the economy's robust growth at the same level, if not higher than the pre-COVID levels. Just recently, our country got a much-needed boost as we ranked among the safest economies in the world. The Philippines placed 12th among the 50th countries based on the highly respected Gallup's 2020 Global Law and Order Report. It's worth noting that we are in the same level as Australia and New Zealand. We call on our American investors to take a closer look at how you can partner with the Philippines. You will see how we can ably support your business expansion plans and provide you with a deeper insight on how to make it happen in the Philippines. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.
Let's now go to our presentations. Our first speaker is Undersecretary Rafaelita Aldaba. Dr. Rafaelita Aldaba is Undersecretary for Competitiveness and Innovation of the Philippine Department of Trade and Industry. She fulfills a key role in the formulation and implementation of the Inclusive Innovation Industrial Strategy, or I3S, which puts innovation at the heart of the country's new industrial policy. She leads DTI's initiatives in establishing an inclusive innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem in collaboration with other government agencies, industry, and the academia. She is also in charge of the competitiveness and research work of DTI, focusing on supply chain and logistics, e-commerce, accreditation of conformity assessment bodies, and trade and industrial policy. At this point, let me turn over the session to Undersecretary Rafaelita Aldaba.
Thank you, Jojo. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
Yusek.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, to those watching from the US, and good morning to all of us here in Manila. I hope you are all staying safe and well in these trying times. And thank you to the Philippine Trade and Investment Center and Board of Investments for organizing the Make It Happen in the Philippines webinar focusing on electronics manufacturing services. Well, as we know, the Philippines is a story of a country that has been seen as an economic star with an average growth of 6.2% in the last 10 years. But just as we reached an inflection point, the pandemic hit us. Like most countries, our growth contracted in the first half of this year by minus 9.5%. This brought us in our first recession since 1998 during the Asian financial crisis. Manufacturing and services, as you can see on the slide, contributed largely to the strong growth in the last 10 years, with manufacturing growing at an average of 5.8%, while services posted 7.2%. Manufacturing was actually at the cusp of a resurgence, but with the crisis, the industry contracted by minus 9.5%. The manufacturing sector, however, has been showing signs of gradual recovery as more sectors of the economy reopen. Production indicators also showed gradual improvements after a steep rise in May, as seen on the chart. The country's macro fundamentals remain solid and strong. Investment grade credit ratings have been affirmed by Fitch Ratings, Moody's Investors Service, and Standard & Poor's despite the economic headwinds. And more recently, the Global Innovation Index 2020 ranked the Philippines 50th out of 131 countries, up from 54th in 2019. This is the first time that the Philippines has breached the top 50 of the Global Innovation Index, which recognizes the country as an innovation achiever for the second year in a row. Note that the Philippines is number 3 in terms of high-tech net exports and number 8 in ICT services exports. For 2020, BOI, the Board of Investments, registered investments over 15 billion US dollars, and we expect to reach 22 billion US dollars early this year. The Philippines also continues, as mentioned by Secretary earlier, to boast of its young and highly educated population with a median age of 24, the youngest in ASEAN, and over 790,000 graduates in 2018-2019, with more than 200,000 of which who are engaged in engineering, information technology, and medical related fields. Well, Industry 4.0 is likewise introducing new changes to the employment landscape in the Philippines. According to LinkedIn, the top emerging jobs in the Philippines are all STEM related, signaling growing prospects among workers and businesses on technology application and innovation. Amid the pandemic, we continue to implement our new industrial policy, which is known as Inclusive Innovation Industrial Strategy, or ICUBE-S. This new strategy focuses on innovation and aims to grow globally competitive and innovative industries by embracing Industry 4.0 technologies to create new products, services, and new business models, closing the gaps in our domestic value and supply chain, and deepening our participation in global value chains. We are adopting Industry 4.0 technologies to create new industries and upgrade our economic activities. Using technologies like voice recognition, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, robotics, 5G connectivity, and industrial Internet of Things, we are positioning the Philippines towards the creation of new products or solutions in the following areas: smart buildings and smart home technology, digital health, e-gaming, smart assistants, vehicle technology, resilient technology, audio, video, and edtech. We have lined up the following Industry 4.0 readiness initiatives. We are working with the UNIDO in crafting Industry 4.0 roadmaps, which include the electronic sector, auto manufacturing, as well as aerospace and agribusiness. We are also conducting a feasibility study for the establishment of an Industry 4.0 pilot factory together with an Industry 4.0 SME Academy to provide Industry 4.0 trainings to our micro, small, and medium enterprises. We are working with the academe on the formulation of an artificial intelligence roadmap, the vision of which is to make the Philippines an AI center of excellence. We are formulating an HRD roadmap in order to reskill and upskill our workforce in preparation for Industry 4.0. We are also implementing a program to provide fiscal and non-fiscal assistance to companies that are shifting to Industry 4.0 technologies. We are building regional inclusive innovation centers, excuse me, RIICs, to serve as platforms, linking innovation stakeholders and entrepreneurs with a goal of accelerating the commercialization of R&D investments, as well as to create new products and services using Industry 4.0 technologies. We have two RIICs focusing on electronics, and these are in Calabarzon and Cebu. The electronics industry, as you know, is an important growth driver with over 500 electronics and electrical firms in the country, providing 3.2 million jobs, including Texas Instruments, Continental, Amcor, Chukiden, Filipino companies like EMS, IMI, Ionics, ATEC, and others that are producing sensors, communication and radar, telecommunication, and auto electronics products. The industry is the third largest contributor to the manufacturing industry output. Computer, electronic, and optical products posted a 6% growth in the last quarter of 2020. Electronics remains the major contributor to the country's total exports with a share of 61%, amounting to 35 billion US dollars in 2020. There was a slight decline in 2020 due to the pandemic. The industry aspires to create the EMS ecosystem and upgrade our position in the electronics global value chain by focusing on the manufacturing of the following products: drones, autonomous vehicles, smart home devices, virtual reality devices, digital health devices, microsatellite, wearable solar devices, 3D printers, and cobots. We are also positioning the Philippines to be one of the regional manufacturing hubs for EV and EV parts in ASEAN. We are working on an electric vehicle incentive strategy, which will provide fiscal and non-fiscal support to EV manufacturing as well as EV consumer adoption in the country. Given our strengths in electronics and automotive manufacturing, we are targeting auto electronic components such as ADAS, sensors, AI technology, AR, VR, electric motor powertrains, together with battery and energy storage systems, along with engineering service outsourcing. As we move towards Industry 4.0 activities, we are harnessing our strength in IT by connecting the IT BPM sector with automotive and electronics. For automotive, for instance, Japanese company Denso has one of its design centers in the Philippines, providing global engineering capacity such as software development for auto products. Furthermore, Filipino multinational IMI has been manufacturing complex safety and control systems for ADAS applications. And established and dependable Tier 1 and Tier 2 suppliers to the world's largest aerospace manufacturers are already operating in the Philippines, like Lufthansa Technik and Collins, which are some of the notable companies operating successfully in the Philippines to support their global operations. And Philippine telecommunications companies, PLDT and Smart, recently announced that they would be launching enterprise-grade IoT services, while Globe, in partnership with Astrata, to further improve its existing IoT-enabled fleet management system. So everyone is preparing for Industry 4.0. The pandemic has accelerated the penetration of advanced technologies in our systems, and the same technologies will help in transitioning towards a rapid, inclusive, and sustainable economic recovery. As the virus is contained and with global recovery, the Philippines will be able to take advantage of the emerging opportunities and challenges from shifting trade and investment preferences. To realize this, we are fast-tracking innovation and adopting new technologies with greater focus on strengthening the electronics manufacturing services in the Philippines. Thank you and good morning. Back to you, Jojo.
Thank you, Yuse Caldaba. Our next speaker is Mr. Domingo Bonifacio. Mr. Bonifacio completed BS Electronics and Communications in University of Santo Tomas, and he continued his education in microwave engineering in University of California, Berkeley. He became the manufacturing manager of Leeton Industries, Gold Incorporated, and Dexel Incorporated. He served as the Director of Operations for Optical Microwave Networks, Inc., Omni, in San Jose, California. In 1995, Mr. Bonifacio founded and served as the President and CEO of Pacific Microwave Corporation, the pioneering RF and microwave manufacturing facility in the Philippines. It was acquired by REMEC Incorporated, a US-based technology company, on March 2001 and was renamed to REMEC Manufacturing Philippines, Inc. He served as the President and CEO of REMEC Broadband Wireless International. Then in 2018, 2014, he became the president of Certec Advanced Technologies and Solutions Incorporated. He is currently the executive vice president and general manager of Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated Connectivity Division. Before asking Mr. Bonifacio to start his presentation, we will have a short video clip about ATEC.
In this day and age, 5G, satellite communications, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, everything wireless are among the top high technology markets of the future. And for more than 20 years, Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated has been a leading provider of high technology, high quality, cost-efficient, and custom assembly and test services throughout the world. Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated is a vertically integrated company that offers outsource electronic manufacturing services to global companies.
Automated Technology Philippines Inc. Was actually a privately owned company and was founded in 1996 as an outsourced semiconductor assembly and test company. We're an ISO 9000 certified company, and we have about 300,000 square foot floor space of production and office space, plus 1,000, 10,000, and 100,000 and ESD controlled facility. Right.
With more than 1,800 employees, Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated has two divisions, Semiconductor and Connectivity. The Semiconductor Division has world-class assembly and test services for the industry. It specializes in non-standard packages and multi-chip assembly, catering to automotive semiconductors, power modules, and medical electronics. Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated, through the Semiconductor Division, introduced the captive line concept in the market for higher efficiency, faster production line responsiveness, and guaranteed capacity, enjoyed especially by automotive and medical application clientele. It also established a copper wire bonding process in 2008 for its excellent performance record in product development and overall services. Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated receives consistent recognition from its customers worldwide. The Connectivity Division is ATEC's newest diversified contract manufacturing services group. Led by Mr. Domingo Bonifacio, Connectivity's management team has over 200 years of cumulative experience in the RF, microwave, and millimeter wave manufacturing. It specializes in non-standard packages and multi-chip assembly, catering to automotive semiconductors, power modules, and medical electronics. Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated, through the Semiconductor Division, introduced the captive line concept in the market for higher efficiency, faster production line responsiveness, and guaranteed capacity, enjoyed especially by automotive and medical application clientele. It also established a copper wire bonding process in 2008 for its excellent performance record in product development and overall services. Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated receives consistent recognition from its customers worldwide. The Connectivity Division is ATEC's newest diversified contract manufacturing services group. Led by Mr. Domingo Bonifacio, Connectivity's management team has over 200 years of cumulative experience in the RF, microwave, and millimeter wave manufacturing industry.
Worked in Silicon Valley for 20 years. Started with some big microwave companies, mostly military type of companies that I worked in Silicon Valley. Right. And in 1996, I decided to come back to the Philippines and started a company called Pacific Microwave Corporation. Right. And I brought 7 engineers from Silicon Valley with me to set up this company. Right. We are the first company actually in the Philippines that had this capability, and we were given a pioneer status by the Philippine government, extended tax holidays. Right. So, and then in 2001, a big US company called Remic Inc. Acquired my company.
Right.
And we became a dedicated manufacturing facility for them.
Right.
And they brought in a lot of capabilities in the Philippines, and
Right.
we have this capability now for more than 20 years.
Most of the division's senior staff, supervisors, and engineers have all been trained in the United States for the best and latest in this field. ATEC Connectivity provides a one-stop shop solution with excellent cost-competitive manufacturing and test services for our clients. Our key capabilities include complex PCBA, hybrid and chip on-board assembly, module system in package, test evaluation boards, and box build assembly. Professional services for your engineering and manufacturing requirements is why ATEC Connectivity is here just for you. Quality assurance that your products and technology may serve the world's markets and industries.
We offer a very excellent cost and competitive manufacturing. As the Philippines is still very competitive if you compare it with the other countries. We're actually a one-stop shop, vertically integrated manufacturing facility.
Right.
And one thing that we can really emphasize is our quality. The products that we have manufactured in our facility actually are installed outside. I mean, they're actually exposed to all kinds of extreme weather. So, you have to have a good quality system and make sure that the quality products that we sell to our customers are in good quality.
Today, ATEC Connectivity is gearing for more, laying out its expansion plan in its 10,000 facility in Laguna, just 40 minutes south of the nation's capital of Manila. This includes the construction of 3 new plants to accommodate future growth.
We're ready to serve you. Automated Technology Philippines Incorporated.
Your strategic partner, now and in the future.
Kaibigan, ating pong mga naimbitahang bisita para po sa ating virtual roundtable discussion. Meron po kaming katanungan para sa inyong kaagad.
Good morning, good afternoon. Mabuhay, greetings from the Philippines. I would like to welcome all our participants to this webinar that is graciously hosted by the Philippine agencies of DTI, the Department of Trade and Industry, Board of Investment, and PTIC, Philippine Trade and
Excuse me,
Investment.
Mr. Bonifacio, excuse me. Can we have some external noise, external audio coming in? Can somebody check their background noise? Okay, that's good. You may proceed, Mr. Bonifacio.
Okay, our appreciation to Undersecretary Dr. Rafaelita Aldaba of the Department of Trade and Industry for her relentless support in these initiatives and advocacy in promoting our country, the Philippines. I would like to especially thank Ms. Celine Pilayog, our trade representative and commissioner in Silicon Valley, California, for all her work to launch this series of webinars to promote Filipino companies. My personal thanks to my good friend Jojo Ochabe, our moderator, who have selflessly agreed to guide us through today's exchange. Our corporate video has summed up what ATEC Connectivity does best, to provide a one-stop shop solutions for your 5G manufacturing needs. Allow me to elaborate on what we do best by showing you what we already have done for other global companies. ATEC is a proven one-stop shop solutions for 5G and millimeter wave manufacturing. Our company is a privately held company located in the Philippines, established in 1996. ATEC Philippines is committed to giving its customers a seamless experience for their manufacturing and test requirements. Our facilities are in a special export processing zone south of the capital city, Manila. As a locator company in these special economic zones in the Philippines, we enjoy the benefits of a streamlined custom processes, tax incentives, and general ease of doing import-export for our operations. ATEC has grown from a provider of semiconductor and test services into a comprehensive strategic contract manufacturing company. ATEC Philippines is composed of two divisions, namely Semiconductor and Connectivity. Together, we have a total of 320,000 square feet of production and office space. All our manufacturing areas have full process controls and strict ESD control standards. And our clean room environment cover class 1,000, 10,000, and 100,000. Our semiconductor division is producing power modules, automotive devices, and 5D semiconductor components and modules. ATEC Philippines has more than 1,800 employees, and there's hardly a language barrier because everybody can understand and speak English. Our second division is ATEC Connectivity. It was established in 2016, and we specialize in RF, microwave, and millimeter wave electronic manufacturing services, or EMS, that covers DC to 90 gigahertz spectrum. A vertical integrated manufacturing company, we provide total solutions for our clients from the component level up to the system level products that are then directly shipped to our customers and users. Because of the nature of our capabilities and the value proposition that we offer to our customers, we strictly adhere to strict standards for confidentiality and intellectual property. Non-disclosure agreements are integral to our manufacturing contracts. At present, the Connectivity Division has more than 105,000 square feet of production area. Our existing facilities on the left side, and here we have shown the outlines for our plant expansion for plant 3, 4, and 5 that are interconnected. The expansion plans include an additional 320,000 square feet of production space. These plants will provide 3 times more manufacturing space for our operations. Our Filipino management team has over 25 years of extensive experience in RF, microwave, and millimeter wave manufacturing. They have developed their careers through 3 significant companies that have pioneered these capabilities in the Philippines since the mid-1990s. Starting with Pacific Microwave Corporation, or PMC, this is the company I founded in 1996 after working in Silicon Valley for more than 20 years. In 2001, PMC was acquired by Remic Inc., a publicly listed US company. It then became the dedicated manufacturing facility for its wireless equipment and products. Then in 2005, it became Remic Broadband Wireless and improved its capabilities to include test and integration of transceivers, point-to-point microwave radios, and fixed wireless access CPEs. More than 1 million microwave radios and millimeter wave radios were manufactured from 2005 to 2015. Most of our Filipino team members were trained overseas and have developed their careers in the RF, microwave, and millimeter wave industry, mainly through the companies I mentioned earlier. Their average practical experience is more than 20 years and give us a significant advantage in handling the unique requirements for 5G technologies and the wireless manufacturing industry in general. Moreover, they have worked with each other for quite some time, and they have developed an effective teamwork that is needed in managing customer expectations. ATEC Connectivity offers complete solutions to your high technology manufacturing needs. And we have both the capability and experience to enable our customers to bring their products to their target markets. We have done the whole cycle from prototyping to new product introduction and to mass production. We have the expertise for component manufacturing module production involving complex PCBAs, integrated microwave assemblies, and multi-chip modules. We can do complete box build assemblies for both subsystem and system level requirements, including full testing and system integration. Finally, our organization is flexible enough to accommodate manufacturing requirements from consignment, build to print, up to a full turnkey manufacturing. Special arrangement like high product mix, low volume production, or mass production of any particular product can be accommodated by ATEC Connectivity. Here are some defined description of the solutions we can provide to our customers. Our capability for assembly and testing of high frequency, high technology products has enabled us to offer comprehensive solutions to the manufacturing needs of our customers. So from components, devices, circuits, complex board assemblies, and system level products for broadband wireless satellite communication, telecoms, 5G networks, or applications for automotive, medical, and health, agriculture, commercial, and industrial, ATEC Connectivity can provide the right solution to the needs of our customers. Our workmanship standards comply with the military standard 883 and IPC A610, which are recognized industry standards for quality and reliability. Here is a list of our production line capabilities, which are operating in our existing facilities today. We have managed to combine both automation with manual assembly for efficiency and reliability. We even have a special SMT line that can accommodate up to 1.6 meters long by 0.5 meters wide PCB that is mainly used for massive MIMO base station antennas for 5G network applications. We're probably the only one that can do this unique type of assembly in the Philippines. Here are some examples of board assemblies that we have done for our customers. This product showcases our ability to handle complex architectures, intricate layouts, and large number of components required by the emerging product designs in the microwave and millimeter wave industry. This, for example, is the big PC board assembly for the 5G massive MIMO base station antenna. Not only this is a very large board, but it's also composed of more than 7,000 components. Yes, 7,000 components. Thanks to our valued customers as they duly approve using their products to highlight our capability. Completing the high volume production of our SMT lines are what we refer as mixed technology assemblies. These are products require a very high level of manual skills. It requires years of experience to achieve the needed dexterity and craftsmanship which our Filipino employees possess. These are product samples for thin film, softboard, and hybrid microelectronics assemblies. Again, we see the intricate and delicate circuit designs and the result of craftsmanship and experience needed to work on these assemblies. This is a unique capability that is seldom found in other companies in our industry. It is one of our specialized capabilities that makes ATEC Connectivity exceptional. Among the handful of companies in the Asian region, we are probably the only one with this high level of quality assembly capability. Among the pioneering works that we did back in the mid-90s was the introduction of RF microwave and millimeter wave testing for modules and sub-assemblies. This enabled us to complete the building blocks for the manufacturing of wireless communication products used all over the world. Today, we are known for our outstanding RF and microwave testing capabilities. We have already full of talented Filipino technicians and engineers that continue to advance their skills and knowledge in this area. It is a testament to our investment not only in training and development of our employees, but also on the significant capital expenditure for the required equipment. Not all manufacturing companies can perform complete RF testing of its products, particularly rigorous testing throughout the manufacturing process from its components to its final product assembly and integration. ATEC Philippines can do this. Our testing is integral to our manufacturing process and covers modules to sub-assemblies up to system level integration and burn-in. We do testing at the module and sub-assembly level in order to ensure error-free integrations in the succeeding phases of manufacturing process. These test setups have been developed by our own Filipino engineers and technicians. This is a typical test setup that we have developed for 5G modules. This is a sample digital and transceiver module with more than 4,000 components. So from components, modules, and devices assembly, we continue our capabilities to include mechanical assembly, system integration, and testing of each required stage of assembly up until we complete the product. The whole process is well documented, and each product unit is accompanied by its own data set. This is a mechanical physical assembly and integration that showcase the knowledge, experience, and dexterity of our Filipino workforce. This is the final assembly and integration of a 4G, 5G remote radio head unit. Mechanical assembly is followed by a system level testing, which include burn-in before it's finally brought to the warehouse shipping area. Here is our homegrown test stations for LTE, 4G, 5G remote radio edge systems. Our own Filipino engineers have developed ATEs or automated testing equipment. Comprehensive product testing involves multiple stations that measures different parameters as demanded by our customers. These stations are online and accessible by our customers anytime. This is the final system level testing. Because of the locations where these products are deployed, a special leak test is conducted to ensure the integrity of the unit. It ensures the product can withstand severe environmental conditions. Then a final quality inspection is performed. Data is collated from the assembly and test process and integrated into the unit documentation and traceability before the unit is moved to the warehouse for shipping. One of the concerns of our customers have been about product and manufacturing transfer from their facility to the Philippines. In the past, this has caused unwanted delays in the manufacturing schedules, if not resulting in even worse issues. Our Filipino team has been through these experiences, especially with Remec Inc., when we succeeded in transferring various dedicated production lines to the Philippines factory. As an example, we managed to set up a new production line for a 4G, 5G remote radio head from an on-site training and ramping up production from 500 units a month to 5,000 units a month in 3 months. This is mainly for an Asian customers that transfer their whole manufacturing of these products to us in the Philippines. Our product transfer experience involved these types of products. SATCOM BUC, a 4G, 5G remote radio head, millimeter wave radio, base station antennas, and indoor unit modems. These are complex system level products that we have the experience to completely manufacture for customers and even ship directly to their end users. This shows our vertical integration capability because we just did not do modules or sample assemblies, but a complete box build product that is directly installed in the global networks. Our offer for a one-stop shop solution will not be complete without our supply chain management service. The Philippines enjoy a strategic advantage geographically being the gateway from the Pacific Ocean to the Asian continent. Logistically, it makes sense to manufacture it in the Philippines and ship the products directly to the Asian countries rather than moving the products from either North America or Europe. In addition, the Philippines is a member nation for the trade treaties in the Asian region that provide additional advantage for exporting products to other member countries. Our supply chain solution consists of best practices from supplier selection and qualification to production planning, purchasing, materials management, warehousing and shipping, demand management, and inventory control. We can support various manufacturing arrangements, and we can also offer other services that include developing a commodity supply base, cost reduction programs, developing second source for parts and materials, and localization of sourcing to aid in cost reduction efforts. Again, the use of best practice like DMI, JIT, and Kanban is standard at ATEC. We can even serve as a regional logistic hub for our customers where they can coordinate their shipments from the Philippines. We offer warehousing and supply depot service as well. It goes without saying that the heart of any productivity endeavor like manufacturing is the commitment to quality. RF and microwave products requires a really high quality standard. This is an outline of our quality initiatives, and in ATEC, we strive to develop a culture and mindset for high quality standards excellence. Since we are devoted to manufacturing network infrastructure equipment, the requirement for high quality becomes a standard for the whole ATEC organization. We invest significantly in the training and empowerment of our Filipino employees. All our efforts at improving and making things better comes from our investment in our people, the Filipino worker. Our certificates coming from the external auditors that validate our internal quality assurance programs and management systems. Here at ATEC, we strive to do it right the first time. Our extensive assembly and test capabilities have given us another service that we can offer to our customers, and that is repair service or after-sales services. We do this not only for products that we have manufactured, but even to those that were made by other companies. Our advantage is that we can go down the component level instead of simply swapping boards or sub-assemblies. We can, in fact, rebuild the unit for our customers and achieve a lesser turnaround time, thereby compounding their cost savings. We can do this service both for the products that are still in warranty as well as those that are out of warranty. In fact, we can even become a regional warehouse for your products. We can take care of your repair management requirements and again leverage our geographical advantage in the Asian region. Our current customers and clients are in the following industries: broadband wireless, satellite communications, telecommunications, aerospace, military and defense applications, in agriculture, medical and health, industrial and commercial use of wireless communications, such as equipment for 5G networks and Internet Things devices. We are committed to deliver a one-stop shop solution for all your 5G and millimeter wave manufacturing needs. Now, we invite you, make the Philippines and ATEC your best move. This concludes my presentation. Thank you and mabuhay.
Thank you, Mr. Bonifacio, for sharing with us the services and capabilities of ATEC and how ATEC can support the offshore manufacturing requirements of OEM and ODM companies. I'm sure that our participants have a lot of questions. So let us now proceed to our Q&A. By the way, joining us for the panel discussion is the Board of Investment Governor, Angelica Cayas. You may, as I've said, you may send your questions using the chat box provided. Let me issue or shoot the first question to start the ball rolling. This one's for both Undersecretary Aldaba and also for Mr. Bonifacio. Um, there are a number of companies, big and small, in China, Malaysia, and Thailand that already offer EMS services, electronic manufacturing services, and also specifically for wireless equipment. For um, for Undersecretary Aldaba, my question is, what advantages does the Philippine EMS industry has over other manufacturing hubs in Asia, with special uh, focus on current bills or endeavors that DTI has?
Yeah. Thank you, Jojo, for that question. Well, of course, apart from all the advantages in terms of the skills of our workers, as well as all the programs that government is preparing, I would like to focus on the current reforms that we are carrying out. One of which is the modernization of our taxation and incentive systems, which is this is going to bring down the corporate income tax from 30% to 20 to between 20 and 25%. This measure will also be, we call it CREATE. This is going to provide as well more generous incentives, especially for those that would be bringing in innovative and high-tech activities such as electronics and EMS products. The CREATE will also harmonize the incentive systems across the different investment promotion agencies in the country. So whether you would be in PEZA, in Clark, or in Subic, you would enjoy the same set of incentives. And at the same time, this proposed changes would remove the nationality requirement, as well as provide the same incentives whether you would be producing for the domestic market or whether you would be producing for the export market. Now, another very exciting development is the signing of the RCEP, or the Regional Comprehensive Economic Program. And why do I say it's a welcome development? Well, it's a bright spot, especially in the light of heightening global protectionism and recession that we are currently experiencing due to the pandemic. The RCEP consists not only of ASEAN member countries, but as well as you have China, you have Japan, Korea, Australia, and New Zealand, which altogether represent a market of 2.2 billion people. That's a very huge market. They account for 28% of world trade, 30% of world GDP, 24% of inward FDI, and 34% of outward FDI. So it would really benefit our industries, not only in terms of market access and trade, but as well as in promoting investment. So it would be good if those countries that are not members of RCEP would be investing and making the Philippines their hub in order to take advantage of all this additional opportunities that I've mentioned. And the RCEP is providing a more stable, predictable, and fair environment for businesses and investments. And to benefit fully from the market opening and the trade and investment opportunities from the RCEP, we are building the infrastructure. We are also connecting the supply chain as well as the entire ecosystem for the electronics manufacturing services and the electronics sector. We are capacitating our industries to make them ready for global and regional competition. And as mentioned in my presentation, our strategy is to fast track innovation and adopt new technologies with greater focus on strengthening the electronics manufacturing services sector.
Thank you, Undersecretary Aldaba. I'm posing the same question, almost the same question to Mr. Bonifacio, but let me rephrase it. what is ATEC Connectivity's value proposition or differentiator from the likes of Benchmark or JBL?
Well, Benchmark or JBL are a tier one EMS company. So we're smaller compared to those big companies. But ATEC Connectivity Management, engineering staff, and our workers offer more than 25 years of experience in the assembly and testing of RF and microwave millimeter wave products. That's what we're proud of because we've been doing that in the Philippines for 25 years now. We have differentiated ourselves by our mastery of the unique process that these technologies requires and combined with a dynamic management team, employing industry best practice in all areas of our operations. Learning curve for any manufacturing process or test requirements will be smoother and shallower. Thus, ATEC Connectivity can bring the product into full production faster at the least cost. In addition, connectivity has the following, a full and focused attention to your product line. Whether big or small, the customer will not feel his product line as a low priority when it comes to time and resources allocation on the production floor. Typically, small and modest-sized customers in the larger EMS companies have their problem because the revenue they bring in does not meet the threshold criteria that EMS companies set. Another one, less than 1% manpower attrition. Our team includes assemblers and technicians who have forged their careers with us for over 25 years now. Protection of the IP intellectual property, rights of customers. This is one of the biggest problems if you have your manufactured products to other countries. They don't really value the IP of the customers. Our unequal commitment to quality standards demanded by these technologies and products, and other allied services such as supply chain solution, repair management services, engineering and process development initiatives. ATEC Connectivity has all this that other EMS companies cannot guarantee. Thank you, Joe.
This one's a good one, a good question. What is this one's for ATEC. What is the extent of a customer's involvement in the factory? What support and skills are needed by ATEC Connectivity from its customer in launching or producing its products?
Customers' involvement in the factory is very minimal as our engineers have plenty of experience in manufacturing products from customer side to the Philippines. Normally, we send our NPI team to learn critical processes and testing to our customers for training 1 to 3 weeks, which is dependent on the product complexity. In some cases, we have customers that have not visited our facilities and we are already doing mass production for them. We made it possible through careful assessment and of customer documentations and design manufacturing process by our new product introduction team. We manage this through teleconferences, remote access or email exchanges, and in today's new normal, Zoom or Microsoft team meetings, right? So to date, we have customers that are already in mass production, but they still have not visited our facilities. This is again a value-added services that ATEC Connectivity offers, especially with the current global pandemic crisis wherein face-to-face interaction is discouraged.
Thank you. There's a question here that seems to be popular among the participants. I know you've already mentioned this, but if you can dig into this concern deeper, how does ATEC Connectivity ensure my product and its technologies and manufacturing data are secured? What intellectual property security measures does ATEC Connectivity have in place?
Well, as mentioned, we highly value the intellectual property rights of our customers. We have mutual non-disclosure agreement in place and it's part of the manufacturing contract, right? All customers' documents are strictly controlled with the limited distribution within the organization by our document control center under the supervision of our quality department. Access to manufacturing document is on a need basis. Limited engineers and workers who are actually working on the customer products only. A product data management system administers this and logs all the copies and distribution of documents. Also, we assign customer codes to their documents in order to maintain confidentiality on their company to others. It required ATEC Connectivity, can offer cockpit and dedicated lines, and only authorized personnel can access these restricted areas if the customers would like to have their own captive lines so that will be more secured. But again, we value the IP of our customers, and that's something that we do all the time. So, thank you.
This one's for both Undersecretary Aldaba and Governor Cayas. Electronics is a pioneer industry in the Philippines with the establishment of TI in the 70s and the presence of manufacturing firms such as On Semicon, among others, under the Make It Happen in the Philippines brand and promotion campaign. But what specific capabilities or offerings of the Philippines give it edge over your ASEAN neighbors such as Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia? Maybe we can start with Governor Cayas.
Yeah, Gov Angie.
I didn't quite hear the question. Can I defer to you, ma'am?
Okay.
Okay, Undersecretary Aldaba first.
Okay. Well, as discussed earlier, we have a young and a highly educated population, median age of 24, which is actually the youngest in ASEAN. And we have over 790,000 graduates, more than 200,000 of which are in engineering, information technology, and medical related fields. And if we look at LinkedIn, the top emerging jobs in the Philippines are all STEM related, like robotics, cybersecurity specialists, data scientists, full stack engineers, data engineers, cloud engineer, and so on. And all these are just signals that the businesses in the country are all gearing towards technology application as well as on innovation, which are important foundations in order for us to expand, to grow the EMS ecosystem in the Philippines. And that's really important for companies that are planning to locate or relocate their activities from elsewhere. And as I've also discussed, we are creating the EMS ecosystem and upgrading our position in the electronics global value chain by focusing on specific products. We are also taking advantage of our strength in IT. And I think this combination of manufacturing, highly skilled workers, as well as our IT strength, our comparative advantage in IT, that makes us really a very good place in order for companies to locate their activities here in the country. And at the same time, apart from connecting all the different activities in our supply chain and value chain, we are also working together with government agencies as well as with private companies in the telecommunications sector in order to ensure that the infrastructure is there. And maybe Gov Angie, or one last thing. We can, given that these are global value chain operations, well, we can actually work together with with our neighbors, with Vietnam, with Malaysia, with Thailand and Indonesia, in terms of the manufacturing of different products, taking into account the strengths where each, I'm sure they have their own strengths, we have our own as well, and we can make the different parts separately, and one could be designated as doing the final assembly, one could be doing the R&D and the design, the others for the all the parts. So I think there is really a lot of scope for everyone to participate in the market. There are a large of opportunities, and the most important strategy is to ensure that we are able to tap our strengths, our and address our weaknesses, and take advantage of the opportunities arising from these new technologies and be able to embed them into our system. Govanji.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. We now have the Make It Happen in the Philippines. This is the Philippines' new international investment promotion brand, primarily designed to generate investment leads. The brand takes inspiration from the genuine Filipino trait of resilience and make it work mindset, exuding strength and adaptability even in times of adversities. A roll up your sleeves, make it work mindset has allowed the Philippines to sail through the 2008 global financial crisis and devastating natural disasters that have battered the country over the past decades, such as typhoons Ketsana and Haiyan, as well as this current global pandemic. In fast-changing world battered by numerous hardships that forecast a shaky future for many businesses, the new Make It Happen in the Philippines campaign highlights the strength and adaptability of the Philippines to weather through these challenges. Also, we have this, in terms of labor costs, the Philippines is very competitive. Normally, it's around 3% increase as against our neighbors. So that's also one aspect that we have to show to our investors, one of the key advantages in investing in the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you, Undersecretary Daba and Governor Cayas. We have here a very interesting question from the participants. Again, I think it's for Undersecretary Aldaba to answer. Mexico in 2010 to 2012 had a low point in their manufacturing business. The government encouraged OEMs to visit their countries' EMS facilities by offering purchasing and engineering decision makers free travel and hotel accommodations. At the same time, this offer was labeled as a junket or tour of viable EMS factories in Mexico. This strategy did accelerate interest in Mexico and was able to create industry buzz on Mexico's value in the global EMS marketplace. Are there plans or interest within the Philippine government to finance this type of national promotion?
Definitely. I think it just so happened that now we have a pandemic and it's so difficult to travel, but our incentive and investment strategy really is now going towards more proactive activities, such as bringing number one, we've already identified the target sectors, the target activities where we want the Philippines to have a strong presence in. And the next step, of course, is identifying and targeting all the different companies in these sectors that we want to come over and invest in the Philippines. And probably at the end of this pandemic, and once the situation normalizes, we can already start organizing these tours, bringing investors from the US, bringing investors from other partners who are strong in the targeted sectors that we are promoting, Yes. So we will be doing physically what we are now doing virtually. So you will see for yourselves the different companies that are already here in the Philippines, especially those that can connect, especially those that that could provide support and the supplies, intermediate parts, components, along with and illustrate the various strengths that we've been discussing now. We can bring you to the AI center the artificial intelligence center that we are now currently building. Hopefully by the end of the year or towards the start of 2020, 2022 or 2023, we'll be able to do this in a large scale.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That's a very brilliant idea, actually. And it would be worth the expense the Philippine government will incur. And it's always a good thing to see what the capabilities are in actual. And it's also a good opportunity to establish relations, start establishing relations with the purchasing and engineering teams of companies who are making decisions on whether their company will do offshore manufacturing or not. So I think that's one of the better concrete and more effective ideas that the Philippine government can provide.
And Jojo, actually, while we were building the IT BPO, the business process outsourcing, to some extent, we also did that. Initially, our officers went to the US, knocking at the doors of US companies who might be interested to locate their BPO services in the country. And then after meeting with all these executives in the US, they brought them.
You invite them
they
over.
Yes, they brought them to the Philippines, and they let them see for themselves the students coming from various universities. They brought them there just to observe for themselves how the characteristics as well as the strengths of the Philippines. So I think we have a model. We did it in the past, and we very well know that we succeeded. We are still number one in voice, but of course, what we want is to be able to upgrade by linking IT with electronics, and we'll we'll definitely do that. And we want to work with the private sector in carrying out this plan. Thank you.
Agree. This one's for ATEC. Can you provide more specifics on the supply chain offerings of ATEC? What can ATEC Connectivity offer in terms of supply chain optimization, bill of material cost downs, and supplier development? Mr. Bonifacio, can you?
I'm sorry. Well, ATEC Connectivity being strategically located within the Asian region, where majority of the materials are being sourced, establish a strategic relationship with our Asian suppliers. Our customers leverage on ATEC's volume price breaks as the result of consolidated parts purchases, lower freight charges from shipment consolidation, duty-free on import-export, and even alternative sourcing if customers are open on such activities. For high-volume production, ATEC Connectivity has the experience of establishing vendor-managed inventories with suppliers and maintaining a lean, just-in-time inventories to mitigate risk in ending up with excess and obsolete inventories. Our supplier development, ATEC take care of all the activities. First article inspection results are submitted according to the customers for final qualification and approval. Activities includes localization of the following mechanical parts, electromechanical items, packaging, materials, plastic components, and others. So that's one thing that we're actually developing right now is to develop our support industry. Right now, we have good capability for mechanical parts, and we can actually help reduce the cost of our customer products by localizing this type of materials here in the Philippines, and also reduce the freight cost. So instead of importing this heavy stuff, we can have them build them here.
Okay, thank you. The next one's for Undersecretary Aldaba again. Is the Philippines investing heavily on 5G infrastructure? How can US companies benefit from the Philippine population of 106 million tech savvy? It's a tech savvy market while making the Philippines a manufacturing hub.
Well, I think I also mentioned earlier in the presentation that our telecommunications companies, all of them, PLDT Smart and Globe, they're all investing and upgrading their IoT infrastructure, because this is really the direction where we want to go and where the world is heading. And hence, it's really important that the infrastructure is there, because that's going to facilitate the success of all these new technologies being brought to the country. And given our huge market of around 110 million tech-savvy population, I think that's a big attraction for US companies to take into account, and hence make the Philippines their hub in terms of their electronics manufacturing services, because it's not only going to serve the huge market of the Philippines. Like what I've mentioned, there's also the RCEP, which represents really a huge market, a lot of opportunities, and making your hub in a country with a relatively large population, not only large, but they are tech savvy, they are English speaking, highly skilled, very young population. I think that offers really a lot of advantages in terms of the decision making of companies as to whether to invest in the Philippines or not.
Governor Cayas, would you be able to add anything to that?
We're assisting a lot of foreign companies now that are into telecom infrastructure, notably the common towers, because it's always a problem of the telecom providers, Smart and Globe, investing heavily in putting up the towers for their services, for their business. So what they did is they're now outsourcing this to a third party. And this company is actually a Malaysian and Filipino partnership. So they're now in the process of putting up the common towers. And also there is one Singaporean company that we are assisting that is going to lay down around 50,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable network. So again, this will be serving, because right now it's just Globe and Smart that they have their own network. So this company will be providing for other stakeholders as well. And they're now rolling out, I think, for the key, including Dito. So a lot of infrastructure projects are now underway for the telecom industry, really to fast track the digitalization of this environment. Thank you.
Yeah, so all this would eventually be also a good domestic market for equipment that is being produced or manufactured locally in the industrial parks, like the those that are being done by ATEC, I guess. Yeah. So another question for ATEC. Um, this one's it says apart from your current RF full turnkey capabilities, what are your future plans or foreseen engineering or technology gaps that you would like to improve on this year and next? Mr. Bonifacio, can you're on mute again.
I'm sorry. So the things that we would like to improve, of course, is to get into more development works. Right now, we can manufacture any type of products, microwave products, RF products. We have a full capability, but we need to get into more development work, including design products and other things that, especially to support the 5G. Actually, we would like to even partner with the telco companies where we can manufacture some of the products that they're using right now, because most of these products that they're using are actually all being imported, right? So if they can give, if we can put together a group like your company Jojo, where you can do design and product design, and we can do the manufacturing, we can be partners and build products for developed by Filipinos and sell it in the Philippines. Although right now the products that we're manufacturing in our facility were actually drop ship. Some of these are actually being used now in the Philippines by Globe and Smart, and we can actually do that.
Yeah, it's always good to hear local companies who are thinking of going up the value chain, and this fits into the innovation program of Undersecretary Aldaba as well, and overall it elevates the country's position in the global value chain, and this is a good direction if ATEC can pursue this. This one's there's a question again for ATEC. In the final analysis, a company decides to outsource its manufacturing activities offshore in order to achieve cost savings. In ballpark figures, typically how much cost savings will a company get in manufacturing its product if it avails of ATEC Connectivity services?
Well, it all depends where you want to compare where they're doing the manufacturing. But if it's in US, which is more expensive, it's in Asia. So we have customers from different countries. I can say we can roughly say about 20 to 30% cost savings that can be realized. Cost savings can be realized in many ways, of course. First are the financial metrics on materials, labor, logistics, and even tariff reductions. But the often unquantified advantage of the engineering, technical, and managerial inputs that enable our customers to deliver its product in the market anywhere in the world are, in my opinion, significant. It's not the premium cost savings that is realized when they do business with ATEC Connectivity. This type of products that we're actually manufacturing really requires highly skilled, years of experience, and a lot of companies, a lot of EMS companies are still don't have this type of capability. There are only handful companies that have this mixed technology and the things that we're doing right now here in the Philippines. So it took us 25 years to develop these capabilities, and even some tier one EMS companies, they are still looking for to set up this kind of capabilities right now. So I would say, Jojo, 20 to 40%. It depends on the, where the current products being manufactured. If they want to outsource it, it all depends on on the complexity of the products too. So.
Okay, thank you. This one's our last question. One of the many deep concerns of companies in outsourcing their manufacturing requirements is the prospect of additional work they have to provide to support and manage their offshore factory partner. Either they have to ask their existing engineering and project staff to take on additional tasks of supporting the factory, or they have to add more warm bodies to their payroll. Are there support services along this line that the Department of Trade and Industry or companies in the Philippines can offer to those planning to outsource their requirements? I think I can answer this, and Graham can also add his own thoughts on this, as well as I guess it's also addressed to the Department of Trade, to Undersecretary Aldaba. But let me give my thoughts on this. I think having boots on the ground is essential in promptly solving day-to-day issues in the factory, issues that will need the customer's immediate disposition. Some companies are just more comfortable if they have their own people inside the factory all the time, either to support or supplement the factory services. I think there's no lack in local Filipino engineering and project management specialists that can support transfers and offshore manufacturing administration. A customer does not need to send a platoon of engineers, as noted by Mr. Bonifacio. The customer doesn't need to send a platoon of engineers and support staff to set up camp in the factory for their NPI or production transfers. There are consultancy outfits like my company, Prometheus, or like Graham's outfit, or Mario's, that offer the special skills and experience. Prometheus has its own pool of associates, whether in engineering, quality, or project management. So definitely, local talent can provide the customer representation for companies and supplement the services of the factory, whether for short-term or for long-term durations. Graham, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, thank you, Jojo. Actually, I performed that role in which I represented a US-based firm, and we did our manufacturing in the Philippines, and I lived in the Philippines, and I managed that relationship. The factory is really an extension of the company itself, so you need to have a close relationship. So people like me can fill that role. The local people can also do that.
Yeah. How about for DTI? Does DTI have any program to provide such services aside from the earlier suggestion to bring them in in factory tours?
Well, maybe Gov Angie could also respond to this later. But yes, we are encouraging companies such as Graham, and you've already mentioned the kind of support that they can provide. So these companies are part of the ecosystem, part of the plans of the government. It's not just to attract the manufacturing and the production activities here in the country, but as well as provide all the necessary services that are needed in order to ensure successful operations. And if I may also mention services is one strength of the Philippines. It actually provides, and it's a source of employment here in the country. It's even larger than the share of manufacturing, and hence there's no lack of talent. There are a lot of people we could tap given the very young population that we have, as well as the number of graduates that the country is producing. So definitely this is, I don't see it as a major problem, but in fact, this is an opportunity, an added advantage as to why a company should come and invest in the Philippines.
Yeah, one-stop shop indeed.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that is all the time we have for today. Thank you for the lively discussion. We apologize for not being able to raise all the questions that were posted in the chat box. All your questions that we failed to address today will be given to the relevant panelists for them to answer. We will be sharing with all the attendees the presentation decks, as well as the answers to all your unaddressed questions via the email addresses you used to register. Thank you to all the attendees for joining us today very much. I would like to thank our speakers, Mr. ATEC Connectivity and Undersecretary Rafaelita Aldaba from the Philippine Government, Department of Trade and Industry, for presenting. May I, at this point, may I invite all the organizers of this webinar to join us. Ms. Lani Dormiendo and Ryan Ramos of Board of Investments, the DTI representatives in the U.S., Special Trade Representative Nicanor Bautista, Special Trade Representative Raymond Batak, Trade Commissioner Celine Layug, and Trade Commissioner Eric Elnar, as well as Mario Rivero and Graham Payne. You can also note down these contact details if you want to get in touch directly with Mr. Bonifacio and the ATEC team, as well as with BOI, Board of Investments, and any DTI, Department of Trade representative in the US. I hope you will pursue engaging the Philippines for your manufacturing requirements in the future. This webinar is part of Make It Happen in Philippines Electronics Manufacturing Webinar Series. We hope we provided you valuable information and the answers that you're looking for if you're planning to outsource your RF and microwave and millimeter wave manufacturing requirements. Watch out for the next webinar featuring the EMS group in the Philippines on February 26. It will be entitled EMS Industry 4.0 Factory Connectivity and Supply Chain Development. Maraming salamat, and we look forward to seeing you again in our webinar. This concludes the webinar for